Once you cut your hole, make sure it fits over the stovepipe, like such. Now that you know it fits, take it off, put the stovepipe back in. Now that the rocket stove is basically put together, you have to fill the inside with ashes, which acts as an insulator. It keeps the heat in so it doesn't burn up the can, and it also causes heat to build up inside the stovepipe, which causes the air to rise very quickly, which is why it's called a rocket stove, because it pulls air through the chamber like a rocket. Take your ashes and pour them in all around the stovepipe on the inside of the can. Now that you have your rocket stove filled with ashes, take the lid that you cut out and put it in over top of it to hold the ashes in. The lid sits on top, holding the ashes in and the heat in. One thing we need now is a small platform, a piece of metal that's going to sit in the middle of this entry here. And that's what your tin can is for. You want to open up both sides. With both sides open, you cut it down the middle. And open it up. You take a tape measure and measure 4 inches. You want to leave a little bit on both sides. So that it'll fit in, but it won't go completely through. And what you're doing is you're creating a platform which will hold the sticks over top of an air hole, which will allow air in through the bottom. So you cut it up a bit and leave basically a little wing on each side. It doesn't have to be too big. And you just cut it off a little bit, leaving about 1 inch on each side. So it ends up looking something like this. Once you have your piece ready, made from the tin can, you put it in the hole. You need to find yourself a piece of grate, something like this, or a couple strips of metal to sit on top and to hold your pot. Let's fire it up. Whatever pot you use to cook on this is going to get totally black. So I store them in paper bags so they don't blacken everything around them. I've given up washing them. To light a rocket stove, you need some kind of paper. You need some matches or some way to ignite this. Could be a bow drill. And you need some twigs. Take your paper and you put it in the bottom below the platform we just made. You take your twigs, just little sticks, you find anywhere, and you put them in on the top. It's good to have your pot sit aside, not directly over the chimney when you first light it up, so that way it gets a real draft and pulls up. And once it really ignites, once it really starts going, then you move your pot over the flame. Sometimes to get it going, you might want to blow on it a little bit. So there you have a very focused flame, exactly where you want it, right to your pot. You push your pot over the flame. I find that this works better or as good as any household stove. You can actually boil things faster because you get a greater flame. And if you forget about it, you forget that you're cooking something, it goes out by itself. Right now the flame's a bit high. You really wouldn't want to burn it this high all the time. It generally doesn't smoke this bad. I'm going to let it burn down a little bit. As the twigs burn down, you just push them in. This is a very efficient cooking method. Whenever you're boiling something, it's very important to use a lid. You'll boil things much faster if you have a lid on your pots. I wanted to show you a solar cooker that I recently bought from Solar Cookers International online. This is called a sun toy. Basically it's a large reflector that concentrates the heat on a black pot. It opens up like this. These clothesline pins hold it together here on the bottom. You put two little blocks, a piece of wood like this, to hold your pot. You need a black pot, something that's thin and light. Cast iron takes a long time to heat up and doesn't work very efficiently. So you take your food, you put it in here, and you take a plastic bag that comes with the kit, or you can pick them up at grocery stores as oven roasting bags. You put your food inside of the pot and inside of the bag. And you set it here. And the bag pulls through one of these tiny holes in the reflector. If you put your food in here on a nice sunny day, let it sit for a few hours, cooks up without any energy at all except for the sun. Not bad. This concludes our first segment of alternative cooking techniques for weblife.org. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you more videos to share the information, teach you what we know, and maybe you can teach us what you know. Take care.